Hi, everyone. Today we're going to talk about how to buy properties with as little as zero down. Some people call it, or it's commonly known as the BRRRR. Bigger Pockets has coined that term, but for years we've been helping people with buying properties, rental properties with zero down, getting into the properties, getting them rented, and then going on and buying more. So that's what we're going to go over today. Call it BRRRR, call it zero down. We call it quick to close, or quick to buy, quick to refi. Whatever you call it, it's all based on buying properties with as little as zero down. So we're going to go over BRRRR. We're going to have a whole series about this. It's going to go down and break down each one. How do you properly buy? How do you properly rehab, rent, refi, and repeat? We're going to go through each one of those in different segments. And you can find everything in a lot of other information on our YouTube channel. There's a link here, or you could just go and look for Hard Money Mike on YouTube and find all that information. So our goal, and has been for 21 years, is to help investors get free. We call it free in 3. We've helped several people go from having little to nothing to being free in 3 years. And that may be just that their rental income now covers everything they need, and maybe that they can do their own flips on time. So, or with their own money. So whatever that is, our goal is to get you up, running, get you the knowledge, get you where you feel comfortable to be able to do this. And that's buying rentals, that's buying flips. That's why we have a lot of different information out here. But whatever it is, real estate investing is the way to be free in 3, not waiting. So we are investor focused. We have been, like I said, for 21 years. Our goal is to make sure you are successful. That allows us also to be successful. It's a win-win proposition. So what is BRRRR? This is what we're going to go over. What is BRRRR? What does it stand for? And is BRRRR right for you? Go through and break down each one. So what is BRRRR? As we said, it's an opportunity to buy properties, rental properties with as little as zero down. It all depends on your purchase. If you buy it right, you could be into the whole thing with not one penny into it. So it is very lucrative. It allows you to accelerate your investment world. The name, it arose from Bigger Pockets, but it's been around for decades. And it's really concentrated just on the rental market. This has nothing to do with fix and flips. This is all about renting properties and building that portfolio quickly. So let's start with breaking this down. We're going to start with the B, the buy. So as we said, this is about buying properties right. This is about buying properties under market. It's not buying retail properties that are already fixed, finished, and ready for tenant move-in. These properties will need some work, and that's why you're going to find that they're under market valued properties. They're value add properties, a property that you can find, put some value into them, meaning fixed up, and then the value now will be greater than those two numbers. So that is the gap there. The difference between what you have for the purchase price and the rehab and now what it's worth is the equity you're going to use instead of taking money out of your pocket. So buying fast is very important because the faster you can buy, the better the deals you'll find. We have story after story where people have been the 3rd or 4th highest bidder, but since they could close quickly, they got a better deal. So make sure you're working with the right lender, someone who can maximize that loan that you're getting up front. That may be a lender who will lend not only the purchase price, but some of the rehab. And we'll go through that when we break down into each segment of this. But just remember, having the right plan, the right lender to max you out is important. Because if you don't have that and you're putting too much money in, you're not going to get into these with zero down. Next, rehab. So when you get into a property with the BRRRR method, you're buying properties that do need fixed up. They need to be changed. You're buying them for a number, let's call it X. When the appraiser comes in, they're going to have to appraise it for more because you've gone in and done some work. And typically that just means, you fixed it up good enough to be a rental property. It does not have to be, as in a flip where you may need, granite, high-end cabinets, all that other stuff. This is rent ready. This is more like bulletproof ready. making sure you don't have to go out and fix everything all the time. But in the BRRRR method, it all starts with you having a property that's under market. You need to put in money and fix it up so that when the appraiser comes, it is worth more than those two numbers, the purchase price and the fix up. There's a gap in there. There's equity in there that you have just created. And then go out and rent it. And I always say start this process right away. Start looking, start researching, making sure those numbers, go out to Zillow, Craigslist, rents.com. Find out what those rents are in the neighborhood so you make sure it does cash flow even before you get into it. But once you're there, start taking applications because you want people who are planning ahead, not someone who just needs a property right then and there. And also, if you're looking or you're thinking about doing this as a VRBO or even rent a room, you're going to have to plan that ahead because most conventional lenders, unless you qualify yourself, are not going to allow you to use that income to qualify unless you have like a 2-year history. So sometimes it's better to refinance it without a tenant in and just say you're going to do a standard rent. But if you're going to do the VRBO or room rent, you may want to get ahead of that in a plan to make sure it works with your refinance. And that's number 3, the refinance. This is where you are able to capture, as I said, that gap because you've purchased it for a number. You've put some money into it, but now when they appraise it, you have built equity because of what you've done to the property. So that equity, that gap between what you purchased and the rehab, that is really the amount you're contributing for the loan. Typically, you'd have to bring in 20%, put it down. But here you've created that 20%, hopefully, or maybe even more in the deal. So you get to use that as part or all of your down payment. So it all comes down to the purchase again. If you purchase good properties at a good price, at a low loan to value, let's call it, you're going to be able to refinance this and use that equity instead of anything out of your pocket. The other key here in the refinance is once you own a property, you get to use that equity. You don't get to, if you found a property and someone you're buying it under market from someone, you don't get to use that equity with a lender on a purchase. You only get to use it when you refinance. So that's why the buy it with short-term money. So now you own it. You've built that equity because you fixed it up. And then when you refinance, that becomes what you use as part of what you need for the property. So we also go through and we're going to go like how to do it fast. Typically you want to be from purchase, fix up, rent, and refinance within 90 days. So you also have to work with a lender that does not require seasoning. And what seasoning means is some lenders require that you keep the property or own the property for 6 months or maybe 12 months. There's a ton of lenders, and it's not a requirement out there from Fannie, Freddie, all the big, lender or the money sources that you keep something for 6 or 12 months. It's really not, but some people have what they call overlays. They make it tougher for you to qualify for loans. So you want someone who does not require seasoning. So you're going to need to look and find the mortgage companies that allow that. And then repeat. The whole benefit of this thing is you could do this over and over as long as you're finding those good properties. You don't need to wait until you save up the 20% or the 25% or whatever it is. You could do it right now. You could do it whenever you want or can find the next time. So that's why I always say keep searching, keep looking. If you want to build fast, you want to retire fast, make this your goal is to start looking at properties, finding the properties that are under market, put them in this BRRRR method, get to that number, whatever your number is, 5, 10 homes, and then, maybe reevaluate and look at apartment buildings or something else like that. But you don't have to wait for, the 20% that you've saved up, but keep looking because you need to find the good properties. So as we said, now BRRRR is a zero down kind of program right for you. It's really for someone who's willing to go through this process. If you don't want to go through this process and you want to buy retail, that's for you. This is for people who want to build equity, build that cushion in case the market goes down too. They've built equity, but also if you're looking for better cash flow, you're buying at lower rates, so your cash flow will increase. And if you want to start now, as I mentioned over and over, if you don't want to wait till you have that 20%, then start now. Start finding those properties that give you the opportunity to put 0% down. And you get to build, like I just said, you get to build that equity faster. So even if there's a market correction or down, you still have plenty of leeway that you've built in. Or if it just keeps increasing, you've just, 3x, 5x what you can build as far as equity and cash flow, because you're buying them for less than someone who is putting the 20% down. So if you have any questions or you have a deal, reach out to us. You can email me at mike@hardmoneymike. We have tons of information. If you're still learning, trying to get to understand everything, you could go out to our YouTube channel or give us a call. So next, we're going to go through the buy. So we're going to take each letter. So the next one is the buy. So we're going to go through the planning, how to plan it right, how to make sure you're finding the properties, how to find these wholesalers, these retailers, and everything else like that. So BRRRR, zero down, whatever you call it, is a great strategy. We've helped hundreds of people, and over the last 12 years, 10 years that we've been doing this. So if you have a question or if you have a deal, give us a call or email us. And if you're still learning, go out to our channel. We have tons of information that could help you. And as always, we say happy investing and look forward to hearing from you soon.